Okay, picture this. Pretoria, South Africa in 1971. A boy named Elon Musk, born to May, a Canadian model dietitian, and Errol, a South African engineer with a chaotic personal life. Sounds like a normal enough origin story, right? Then suddenly, boom, he rockets from suburbia to the global stage. Genius to some, menace to others, visionary, disruptor, meme lord, and controversy magnet. His story really picks up the moment he packs his bags and he leaves South Africa as a teenager. Apartheid was still law, and Musk had no interest in serving in the South African military that upheld it, so at 17, he used his Canadian-born mother's citizenship and moved to Canada, surviving on odd jobs to stay afloat. Though, frankly, Elon doing any job sounds odd. 2 years at Queen's University later, he transferred to UPenn to study economics and physics. Even back then, Musk was fixated on the future. He often said the internet, renewable energy, and space exploration were the three forces that could reshape humanity. And well, the current state of social media has certainly reshaped humanity, just maybe not in the way he'd imagined. In 1995, Musk and his brother Kimball launched their first company, Zip2, out of a cramped Palo Alto office. It was an online city guide for newspapers, basically like Google Maps' ancient ancestor with dial-up trauma. They slept on the office floor and showered at a nearby gym while trying to convince businesses that this internet thing wasn't just a fad. 4 years later, Compaq bought Zip2 for about $307 million, giving Musk $22 million from the sale. He'd hate to admit he ever survived those dark, miserable days, scraping by only 8 digits. A humble, starving beginning. Yet, he didn't retire to a yacht. He doubled down and launched X.com. No, not that X. An online banking startup designed to make digital money transfers normal. People thought it was insane at the time. Back then, they barely trusted sending emails, let alone cash. But Musk pushed through. X.com later merged with Confinity, home of PayPal. Musk was eventually unceremoniously booted as CEO, startup culture, brutal, sweaty, with no refunds. But when eBay bought PayPal in 2002 for $1.5 billion, he walked away with roughly $180 million after taxes. That's when things shifted from rich to, oh, he's one of those rich. That's the type of money that buys magazine covers, SNL monologues, and professional gamers grinding XP for you. Musk went full supervillain origin story and funneled most of his PayPal fortune into new ventures. In 2002, he founded SpaceX, with a goal so ambitious it sounded like sci-fi, reusable rockets, and eventually colonizing Mars. NASA's space program was slowing down, and Musk saw a gap big enough to fire a Falcon through. A few years later, he invested heavily in Tesla, a small electric car company founded by engineers Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning. Internal drama followed, shockingly, and Musk became CEO in 2008. Working with Elon seems about as smooth as a Cybertruck door demo. Tesla's first car, the Roadster, proved that electric vehicles didn't have to be slow and look like sad golf carts. It was sleek, fast, and aggressively futuristic. Around the same time, Musk dove into SolarCity, a solar power company, then brain tech with Neuralink and tunnels with the Boring Company. Everything tied back to his two-step plan for humanity. Number 1, don't kill Earth. Number 2, if we do, Mars is open. By the late 2000s, he was Silicon Valley's new poster boy. And yes, pause on his Time magazine cover. What a face. Truly, something. After 3 previous rockets did their best impression of fireworks, the world started paying attention. 2 years later, the Falcon 9 took flight, and by 2012, SpaceX's Dragon capsule docked with the ISS, the International Space Station, the first private spacecraft to ever pull that off. Suddenly, this former internet millionaire was being compared to NASA itself. Houston, we might have a situation. Meanwhile, Tesla was charging up. The Model S in 2012 made electric cars desirable for the first time. One part saving the planet, one part badass midlife crisis sports car. Musk used that momentum to spin Tesla as more than a car company, a mission. a climate war effort on 4 wheels. And the message landed, especially with younger audiences hungry for a hero bigger than Wall Street. By this point, Musk had mastered the art of storytelling. He sold dreams packaged as products and delivered like trailers for the future. He began to sound less like a CEO and more like a character written by Hollywood. Hero, villain, genius mastermind? No one was sure, and that uncertainty made the story even better. He talked about Mars colonies, neural brain links, traffic tunnels under LA. Each pitch sounded wild enough to be sci-fi, which was exactly the point. The bolder the claim, the more the media ate it up. Soon, he became the quote-unquote real-life Tony Stark, a label he absolutely leaned into. His cameo in Iron Man 2 sealed it. Charming on screen, debatable. Expensive cameo? Certainly. His public persona was sculpted as meticulously as a SpaceX rocket nose cone. Musk boasted about 100-hour work weeks, sleeping on factory floors when Tesla struggled to meet production targets. He posted tired selfies, spoke about risking everything, and preached that if something mattered enough, you should just do it even if the odds are against you. It painted him as the gritty underdog CEO. Rich, yes, but also the guy willing to pass out on the factory floor for the mission. That brand of hustle grind mythology made him look both unstoppable and somehow relatable. But this is where the myth started wobbling. For all the talk of innovation and changing the world, many of Musk's grand promises floated somewhere between almost here and coming soon, TM, in vaporware limbo. The fully self-driving Tesla that was always arriving next year kept getting delayed. The Hyperloop, a vacuum tube bullet train, launched with cinematic flair and glossy animations, then slowly evaporated when physics and budgets refused to cooperate. The Boring Company mostly delivered short test tunnels in Las Vegas, more like a theme park attraction than a transportation revolution. Our real-life Tony Stark was occasionally looking more like Tony Shart when it came to follow through. The myth thrived because Musk understood something fundamental. People love to believe in tomorrow. He fed that hope constantly. Mars colonies, robo-taxis, neural implants, just sci-fi enough to inspire, just plausible enough to buy stock. As long as the dream stayed alive, investors and fans forgave the missed deadlines. Yet, with every slip, small cracks appeared, and behind the cracks, memes. Endless memes. By the time Elon Musk became a household name, he'd evolved from billionaire inventor to Mars-obsessed meme lord. The same guy planning interplanetary civilization was also posting cursed memes at 3 a.m. and cracking dad jokes on Twitter. He dove fully into internet culture hard, sharing memes about himself, replying to randos, and tweeting whatever popped into his head. And because he had millions hanging on every word, even his midnight brain dumps became headlines. Then came the 2018 flamethrower stunt, the Boring Company's just for fun merch drop. It wasn't even a true flamethrower, more like a spicy leaf blower, but it sold out instantly. People didn't care about safety, they wanted to own the meme. For a while, that blend of chaos and charm was electric. Any tweet could move markets or start global debates. But the constant performance also exposed something else. Musk seemed addicted to the spotlight. Twitter became his diary. Except, unlike a teenager with shame and a lock on the cover, Elon's diary entries were public and retweetable. The more attention he received, the more he fed it, and the internet devoured every second. Then came the moment when memes blurred into misinformation. In November 2022, shortly after buying Twitter, Musk shared a meme promoting a long-debunked conspiracy theory about the attack on Paul Pelosi, husband of then House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. A billionaire CEO platforming conspiracy junk? It was reckless. The post was deleted later, but like the Pelosi assault story, the damage was already done. When Musk took control over Twitter, things shifted quickly. He went full demolition mode, firing half the staff, slashed moderation teams, and reinstated previously banned controversial accounts in the name of free speech. What followed looked less like freedom and more like Musk's sense of humor. Messy on a good day, cringe on a bad one. Studies by groups like the Center for Countering Digital Hate reported sharp spikes in hate speech. Slurs that were once filtered returned like roaches when the lights go off. Bot activity rose too, flooding timelines with spam and fake engagement. Advertisers backed away, afraid their ads would sit next to extremist content. Musk called them cowards and mocked them publicly. But underneath the bravado, it was clear the platform was cracking like a Tesla window at a product reveal. At the same time, Musk was tweeting like it was a competitive sport. He began replying to randos with conspiracy takes, boosting unverified claims, and sharing far-right memes like they were Sunday comics. Fans argued he was trolling the establishment. How iconoclastic. While critics called it irresponsible and immature. Either way, he had shifted from CEO to head jester of Twitter. And oddly enough, that's what made his fans worship him more. They saw his unfiltered posting as authenticity, a billionaire who didn't speak like one. Musk played the part perfectly. The anti-corporate disruptor who tweets like your unhinged friend from the group chat at 2 a.m. But that persona came at a cost. The glow of the visionary genius dimmed. Turns out, meme lord and the savior of humanity don't fit comfortably in the same LinkedIn headline. Musk's personal life deserves its own never-ending telenovela, except instead of passionate betrayal and wine-throwing, it's tech nerds, NDAs, and plot twists nobody asked for. He's fathered at least 14 children, a number as hard to pin down as a Tesla delivery date, because new offspring news drop every couple of years like unwanted patch notes. It all began with his first wife, Canadian author Justine Wilson, whom he met while studying at Queen's in Ontario. They married in 2000, and 2 years later, they welcomed their first son, Nevada Alexander Musk, named for where he was conceived, Alexandria. Just kidding. It's Nevada. They did it in Nevada. Tragically, Nevada died at just 10 weeks old from SIDS. Musk rarely speaks about it, but Justine has written about how the loss reshaped their marriage. They later had twins in 2004, Griffin and Xavier, and triplets in 2006, Kai, Saxon, and Damien. 5 kids via IVF. Then 2008 hit like a meteor. Tesla was tanking, SpaceX kept exploding, and the marriage collapsed too. Post-divorce, Musk dated British actress Tallulah Riley, and their relationship was basically a ping-pong match with wedding rings. Married in 2010, divorced in 2012, remarried in 2013, divorced again in 2016. Honestly, that's dedication to paperwork. Then came the relationship the internet could not shut up about. Grimes. Real name Claire Boucher. The experimental pop princess to Elon's tech lord energy. They went public in 2018 and the internet immediately short-circuited. The memes practically generated themselves. In 2020, they had a son, the legendary A12, later clarified to be pronounced X-A12, apparently. Sounds like a Wi-Fi password crossed with a Star Wars droid. The name was part meme, part math equation, part sci-fi prophecy, which honestly fit their whole vibe. In 2021, they had a daughter via surrogate, Dark Siderale, aka Y. By 2022, it was revealed they'd had a third child together, a son named Technomechanicus, because why stop at the Greek alphabet when you can jump straight to a machine god? Grimes described the relationship as fluid, meaning together, apart, and quantum entangled, but still linked through co-parenting chaos. Meanwhile, Musk was quietly populating another timeline. In 2021, he had twins with Siobhan Silas, a top executive at Neuralink. Court filings showed the twins were conceived via IVF and born just weeks before his daughter with Grimes arrived. arrived, something Grimes apparently did not know at the time. She found out the same way the rest of us did, via headlines. Miraculous, honestly, that Musk didn't leak it himself in a late-night tweet. Then in 2024, reports surfaced that Musk and Zillis had a third child, meaning Musk had children with two women almost simultaneously, both tied to his companies. It painted the picture of a personal life tangled deeply with work. And honestly, what did we think he was doing during those 100-hour work weeks? Power napping? As if his love life wasn't dramatic enough, it goes deeper. Musk frequently warns that the world is facing a population collapse, urging people to reproduce more to save civilization. He jokes about quote-unquote doing his part, but it's clear he's not entirely joking. It sometimes feels like he's treating it as his personal side quest. Repopulate Earth one baby at a time. Does our homegrown Iron Man also see himself as a modern-day Genghis Khan now? He's also said things like smart people aren't having enough children, a comment many critics called elitist. While he talks about saving humanity with rockets and AI, his approach to fatherhood looks less like nurturing and more like collecting achievement badges. Several former partners have suggested he's largely absent, prioritizing work above almost everything. And then there's Vivian Jenna Wilson, one of the twins born to Musk and Justine in 2004. In 2022, she legally changed her name, choosing her mother's surname and formally distancing herself from Musk. In court filings, she stated she no longer wished to be associated with him in any way. Harsh, but hey, at least she dodged being named Technomechanicus. By around 2017, cracks were beginning to show in Musk's serious business world. Tesla hit repeated production nightmares during the Model 3 rollout, the era he dramatically labeled production hell. Cars were delayed, quality issues piled up like Jenga blocks, and workers described brutal schedules under near-impossible targets. By 2023, Tesla had faced over 1,750 lawsuits, everything from autopilot crashes to discrimination and labor disputes. At this rate, Musk might be hoping his kid count grows faster than his lawsuits. And many of those cases weren't trivial. In California, Tesla was sued over racism at the Fremont plant, with black employees reporting years of harassment and slurs. The California Civil Rights Department even filed its own lawsuit. Safety concerns mounted as well, cars catching fire, autopilot-related crashes, and repeated investigations from the NHTSA. Despite Musk's promises that Tesla would lead the self-driving revolution, reality lagged behind the hype. Full self-driving rolled out year after year as a glitchy beta. Bugs, limitations, and occasional chaos firmly included. Yet Tesla's stock continued to skyrocket, fueled less by flawless results and more by Musk's hype engine and the cult-level faith surrounding him. Meanwhile, SpaceX was having its own roller coaster era. The company achieved the holy grail of reusable rockets, an undeniable milestone. Incredible. But getting there required more explosions than a Michael Bay movie. Test flights blew up, payloads vanished in fireballs, and deadlines slipped again and again. Starship, the colossal rocket meant to carry humans to Mars, has gone boom on launch multiple times. To Musk, these were learning experiences. To everyone else, they were expensive fireworks. And while SpaceX now carries NASA astronauts and Pentagon satellites like Amazon Prime to orbit, it also means Musk's government skeptic persona sits awkwardly beside the billions in public contracts keeping the rockets flying. And then, because this saga needed another plot twist, politics entered the picture. In early 2025, he was appointed a special advisor under Donald Trump's new administration, within the so-called Department of Government Efficiency. Officially, he was there to modernize federal operations. Unofficially, it created a minefield of ethical questions. Musk was now an unelected policymaker, the owner of a a massive global media platform and the CEO of companies fueled by federal contracts all at once. That's a ridiculous amount of power for one meme-addicted billionaire. If the US didn't want a real-life Lex Luthor arc, maybe don't give him the keys, the satellites, and the tweet button at the same time? The deeper you dig into Musk's story, the more the inspirational narrative starts glitching. He claims everything he does is for humanity's future. Noble on paper, sure, but strip away the motivational monologues and suddenly the pattern looks a lot more self-beneficial. Tesla was kept alive with billions in government subsidies and tax breaks meant for green tech. That's taxpayer oxygen, not genius. And that clean energy image? Complicated. A huge portion of Tesla battery production runs off coal-powered grids in China. Not exactly the utopia promised. More like the planet wheezing in a smoggy corner. Sustainable future starts sounding less like a mission and more like marketing copy. He also loves to trash unions and labor organizing, even while insisting he cares about workers. Yet reports from Tesla factories mention heat exhaustion, brutal deadlines, fainting, and retaliation toward those who complained. In 2023, Tesla got slapped with labor violations, and regulators found efforts to discourage unionizing. So much for employee-first innovation. And the Man of the People Act, that was fading fast. Gone are the press tours of him sleeping beside production lines, replaced with yacht photos, celebrity parties, and late-night meme dumps. He's now CEO of Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, and X, multitasking so aggressively it's unclear where he actually works or when he finds time to father half a classroom. And when bad press lands, his strategy is predictable. Tweet something spicy, watch the internet chase the distraction, and let the fanboys do cleanup in the replies. For years, Musk's fanbase were a force of nature, loud, loyal, and always online, but personality cults only stay shiny while the hero keeps delivering. When promises stalled and visionaries started reading more like chaotic energy with Wi-Fi, cracks formed. Gen Z especially wasn't buying the myth. They didn't grow up with Silicon Valley posters on their walls. To them, Musk looked less like Tony Stark and more like a rich but cringe wannabe guy posting dad memes. By 2024, surveys showed Tesla's image had slipped among young consumers. The breaking point was the Twitter era, when Musk seemed more focused on beefing with random users than literally anything else. Investors finally blinked, and Tesla's stock shook as the world realized their CEO might prefer being a content creator over a chief engineer. The diehards remain, sure, but the fandom is smaller and moodier. For everyone else, Musk has gone from tech messiah to poster child of excess. Or should we say excess? Headlines about Musk shifted to chaos, controversy, and confusion. The Ukraine situation became a major turning point. Reports claim that Starlink, Musk's satellite network keeping Ukraine online during the war, restricted access during a planned strike on Russia's fleet. Musk argued he didn't want his tech triggering World War III, but many saw it differently. A billionaire making battlefield decisions alone. What a beautiful full circle on the Tony Stark comparison. Meanwhile, Tesla's promises began catching up with reality. Full self-driving, teased for years, is still not truly self-driving, and crash reports keep surfacing. Deadlines move like mirages, safety concerns increase, and rival EV companies are breathing down Tesla's neck. It's a strange inflection point. The same internet that crowned Musk with memes and worship now picks apart every move, tweet, and misstep. So where does that leave us? Musk will almost certainly go down in history as one of the most ambitious figures in modern technology. Maybe he'll be remembered as the brilliant disruptor who almost delivered the sci-fi world he promised, or maybe he'll be remembered as the guy who built a myth so massive, so loud, it became his undoing. Either way, we're living in the timeline he helps write. Subscribe, comment your take, and we'll see you in the next rabbit hole.